Hey, what's up YouTube? So, today I'm going to talk to you about seed starting mixes and what I use and what I've had success with and blah blah blah. So, when it comes to my recipe, there is no recipe. It's just kind of like whatever I have access to at the time, and yeah, I kind of just eyeball everything, so it's no exact science or anything like that. The basic foundation of my mix is coconut coir, vermiculite, or perlite, whichever one you like. If you're using vermiculite, make sure it's one that's been tested and has passed to be asbestos free, because some vermiculites do have asbestos in it. Yeah, so coconut coir, vermiculite, and then I like to have worm castings in there, and that's all the nutrients I've found is necessary for seed starting, because it doesn't take, they're not supposed to be in your seed starting trays for too long, your plants. So yeah, they just get moved out to the garden relatively quick. Now if it was a potting soil, I'd put more nutrients in it because the plant would be in that pot for longer. But seed starting, it's kind of a different ball game. Anyway, so I've got the coconut coir, vermiculite or perlite, and worm castings, and then I like to add mycorrhizae with my seed starting mix and my potting soils. Actually, I like to use, I did that in the last video that I recorded, but I didn't like how it turned out. But anyways, whatever. I like to use the granulated mycorrhizae. This is made by Plant Success. Great stuff. Did it again. Anyways, so yeah, I've got the mycorrhizae, coconut coir, vermiculite, worm castings, and then the last ingredient is Hendricus Complete. It's a granulated fertilizer. It's made with like the granulated part. It's made out of feather meal, alfalfa meal, fish and bone meal, potassium sulfate, dolomite, limestone, and kelp. And then it's also inoculated with all sorts of soil biology. So you've got all sorts of different types of bacilluses and all that fun stuff. But anyways, here's the little label thing. I buy it in a 55-pound bag, or 50-pound bag, and yeah. So, when it comes to my seed starting mix, I like to add the mycorrhizae and the Hendricus Complete just because it inoculates the soil. I use my plugs once the plants are grown, and just when they're getting ready to go into the garden. I like to have all that nutrients and my soil inoculants in the plug. That way, as I plug it say it's Salanova, every time I plug it every 6 inches, it's inoculating the soil, and the mycorrhizae already has the roots from the lettuce, and they're already working together and getting established, and then once they go into my garden, then they really just take off and thrive. So it's kind of like stacking functions or whatever. You get to inoculate your garden, and you get to start your seeds, and everything does well, and it's all healthy and all that fun stuff. So yeah, in my last take of this video, I did a tray of prize taker leeks, but like I said, didn't like how that video turned out. So I guess I didn't go through a somewhat of a recipe, or give you guys a ratio, so I'll do that real quick. For coconut coir, say you're making like a 5-gallon batch of seed starting mix, I'd use a 5-gallon bucket full of coconut coir. Then maybe, I don't know, let's see, we'll do a gallon of vermiculite, or a half a gallon, depending on how much you want. It's up to you. You can kind of just feel it out and see what you think would work best. Like I said, I don't measure it, I just eyeball it, so I never think about it. And then for the worm castings, I use barefoot soil worm castings. I don't know if you can see that too well, but that's a really great quality worm casting. They use like they feed their worms and raise them in alfalfa meal, so it's already really high in nutrients. And then yeah, so I'd probably use another half a gallon to a gallon of worm castings for a 5-gallon bucket of coconut coir. And then with the granulated mycorrhizae, probably about a handful for that entire batch, and then about a handful to 2 handfuls of the Hendricus complete. And that's it. You can add all sorts of other stuff to it too, but I like to keep it simple. One quick cool little story that I think is cool, at least. I left my tray full of potting soil in the barn and it stayed cool. It's pretty cold out right now actually, so it stayed cool and dry and dark. And I had a bucket or feed thing sitting in my tray, and right under that bucket, because it was kind of protected from the air, the mycorrhizae and mycelium and all the other fun soil biology stuff was really getting going, and it like glued all of the soil particles together, so it was this nice like mat full of mycelium and seed starting mix, and it was really cool. I've made like a little video on my phone, so I'll try and plug that in if I remember, and then you'll get to see what I'm talking about. But it'll do the same thing in your seed starting trays with the roots of your plants, so it'll be even better. So you'll get a nice firm plug when you go and plug it out to the garden. Yeah. And then real quick, I'll talk about these seed trays that I've got. Get this stuff out of the way so you can see it a little better. These are the Haas Tools seed trays. They're practically indestructible. I really like them. Like, yeah, they'll last a lifetime. They're so durable. Unlike the cheap flimsy trays. I've got one right here. There's actually 3 here, but they're still pretty cheap. Anyways, put that back up there. So these trays, like I said, they're practically indestructible. They'll last a lifetime. They've got really nice drainage holes. Hopefully you can see that in there. I don't know how well you'll see it with this, but yeah, maybe not. But there's little root training ribs inside each cell. There's, let's see, 1, 2, there's 4, or there's 2 on either side, all the way around the plug. And yeah, trains all the roots into a nice funnel. It's gonna allow your plants to have nice healthy root balls. And yeah, Haas Garden Tools sells them. They're great trays. I'm really excited to be using them this summer. Got 20 trays. I built my greenhouse, which I'll do a video about shortly, specifically to fit all of my trays. And yeah, so that's that. That's pretty much it. I don't have anything to plant since I already planted my leeks, so you just have to imagine that I filled this tray up and planted something, so sorry about that. I don't think I'm missing anything, so yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that helped, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. And don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Have a good day. Happy gardening.